Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? This is Garfield Waller, welcoming you to another episode of Rock the Mic. How is everybody tonight? I hope everybody's okay. We're running a tad bit late, but in the meantime, let's do a sound check. If you can hear, could you put something in the comments for me, please? Could you let me know? Right now, the system is lagging a bit. The internet is lagging a bit. You can see the lack of coordination between my lips and my voice, but let's give it a while to see if Spectrum will pick up again on the bandwidth. So, what's happening in your neck of the wood, guys? Let me know. Let me know what's the weather like. But please, sound check. If you are there, if you're listening, let me know. Please let me know. I have no clue what the sound is like coming out from your side. Please let me know. Give me an idea of what you're hearing. And welcome, Tatlin. Good. Are you hearing? You hear me loud and clear? Okay, Dorothy, fine. Good. Good. Uh, this week in Port Maria, in fact, last week, Port Maria said goodbye to one of the stalwarts, somebody who was in and about town, basically in every facet of your life. Chubby. Chubby was an athlete. He was everything. He was everything in Port Maria. And today, Lorna Fairweather also said goodbye to her dad. Mr. Fairweather was one of the pillars of the community. So, for those who are grieving, please accept our condolences. Tonight, we have a very, how should I say, very energetic young lady. She is going to be talking to us about something very interesting. But, guys, let me know where you're listening from. Just put something in the chat. Let me know where you're listening from, whether you're listening from New York or Jamaica, anywhere on the eastern seaboard of the United States. I'd love to know where you are tapping into the program from, guys. Well, over the last 4 weeks, I have had politicians online, and this week we are, you know, diverting. Not a politician, and I see Mr. Maxwell coming in from Connecticut, that cold place. Good. I hear you guys are warming up fine. All right, good. But we are awaiting the arrival of our guest, and she just called to say she is 2 minutes away from the house. So we forgive her. She'll be okay. With her, and listen, she can be late anytime she wants because when she gets her on the microphone, it's gonna be good. And I think we're all gonna like this. We're all gonna like this. So we're taking a break from the politicians until after the nominee is chosen, and then we're gonna hit them again because this time, guys, we are gonna hold them accountable. We are gonna hold them accountable to all the promises they made in Western St. Mary and Central St. Mary. And we're going to be branching out to other parishes because St. Mary's, even though it's the most important parish in Jamaica, I want to give the other parishes, a little exposure. Places like Portland, who are down in the dumps, I want to give them a little exposure. But I want to be covering everything. I don't want people to think, hey, I am socialist or I'm labor. No, none of that. We just want to get things out there in the open. For too long, our people have suffered under some serious mismanagement. It's time we hold them accountable. So, guys, I know it must be hard to tear you guys away from the NBA basketball playoffs. I don't know who watches that nonsense, but sorry, guys. But I know it must be hard to tear yourself away. But I'm happy to have you here. And for Mr. Maxwell, for you to be watching all that golf, you must be in golf heaven by this. But any topic you guys want to bring up, hey, that's what the chat is for. I need to see you participating. I'd love to see you putting something in the chat except just hi, hello. Please don't be afraid to participate. Do not be afraid to participate. So, guys, please come on in, say what you want to say. And with that, we can spark some interest. We can spark off a new topic or any new genre. I welcome your input. In fact, this is all about you guys, not really about me. I'm doing this. It's something I enjoy doing, but I'm learning while I'm going along. I learn from you guys, and I hope you guys learn something from the people I bring on to the program. So people are saying yes, the sound is okay, fine. because it's difficult sometimes gauging your sound. Hear what you test may not be what goes out to everybody on the internet. And for those who are watching, who are going to be watching on the replay, whether you're going to see this Sunday, Monday, please comment. Please comment. There are people, including myself, who go in and read basically all the comments. And welcome, Gracie. How you doing? Grace Loveless Townsend. Glad to have you here, Gracie. Glad to have you here. I know you're tuned in not for me, but for our guest this evening. I don't mind. I really don't mind. As long as you're here, that's good. That is good. But many people expect her to be talking about certain things, but she's got to be going off on something else. Okay. And Hagen Tatlin, good. Mhm. Well, guys, like I said, I'm happy to have you here. We're just waiting on her arrival. I know she's moving at breakneck speed trying to get in to get her on that laptop, but we'll wait. We are only 7 minutes in. But talking about NBA playoffs, guys, is there, for some of the men especially, who like basketball, any team that has surprised you? Any team that has lived up to your expectation? And any team that has not? Looking at it, what do you guys think about Golden State Warriors? Will they be able to make it? Or it's going to be the end of a dynasty? I'd love to hear what you guys think. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Is it going to be the end of a dynasty for Mr. Maxwell and his Chelsea? Yeah, Gracie. Yes, I can hear the sarcasm in your typing, Gracie. For you soccer fans, what's happening with the EPL? Can Arsenal do it? Will they be able to hold on? What's wrong with Man United? And hey, watching the EPL, the only thing that Golden State Warriors will pull through. Okay, Mr. Maxwell, you're one of those who you're gonna live in hope and maybe die in agony, all right? It's hard to see them coming through. It's hard to see them coming through. Manchester United, my foot, worst team on earth, couldn't beat the corner league side. But watching the EPL, you know what surprised me? When they talked about bringing over Haaland, I honestly thought this kid was overrated. I honestly thought he was just a blonde bombshell. But hey, the kid's good, man. The kid is a goal scoring machine. So, guys, what is the weather like for those of you up in New York, Connecticut? What is it like up there now? What is it like? Is it warming up? Can you guys ditch your jackets or what? What is it like? Tatlin, where are you calling from? Where are you listening from, Tatlin? Love to know where you're listening from, Tatlin. Gracie, you are where? You're in Maryland, right? Let me get some feedback, guys. Let me get some feedback. Warming up, good. So you're out there on the golf course. I wanted to, Mr. Maxwell, but I threw out my back, bad back, and an irritated sciatica nerve. Oh my God, I'm in pain, man. This is I don't wish this on my biggest enemy. This sciatica is murder. You can't sit, you can't stand, you can oh my God. But I know you are gonna be in heaven over the next couple of months. You're in your golf. Okay, and I think Sonji is coming in now. And Maxwell says fluctuating between 50s and upwards. All right. Good. Maryland, weather is good. Yes, was 89 yesterday, 77 today. Oh my God, down here in Florida, every freaking day it's 90 plus. It's heating up. And no rain in sight, man. It's raining in other areas, but where I am, no rain. Okay, I think we have Sonji here, and I hope she's ready. Let me bring her in. New York, 59 degrees right now. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I bring you Dr. Sonji Johnson Anderson. Here she comes. Hello,
Hi,
Sonji. How are you?
I
Okay,
am
good.
fine, thank you, my dear.
All right. You didn't have any accidents?
No,
You,
no, no, no. I drove home as
oh,
as safely fast as I could.
as safely fast. I
Yeah,
like that. I like that one. Anyway, Sanji, welcome, 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 welcome.
thank
Uh,
you.
ladies and gentlemen, Sonji is here in a different capacity from when she was the last time. Last time she was here, she was acting as an advocate just for her child and kids who were disadvantaged. But today, I want to hear from Sonji on her recent trip to South Africa. So,
Yes,
Sonji,
yes, sir.
of all the places in the world, and knowing that our heritage harkens back to West Africa,
Right.
why South Africa? Explain to us why South Africa.
Because, Gary, good night, audience. And
Yep.
thank you, Gary, for having me on. I have to, put my manners out there first. Um, so I went to South Africa because I'm actually doing work with a not-for-profit organization named Crossing the Waters Institute for Cultural Exchange. And this is a cultural exchange uh, um, organization that does, the people who work in it are artists, mostly theater artists, performance artists, let us say. And they do work with people in South Africa and in the United States. It's a interesting history of how the organization came to be, but it spoke to me, the kind of work that they do. You know that I'm in education and so on, but I'm very disillusioned about the state of education, and really wanted to be able to do more meaningful work on my terms, rather than the usual boxed in lack of imagination uh, approach that the education sector tends to take. And so I am a part of this organization that does this kind of work in South Africa, working with refugee women, working with local children in the townships. We visited Cape Town, and so that is where we were focusing on our work, and so that is why I ended up in South Africa.
South
um
Africa.
yeah.
Okay, hold on, Sonji.
Yes,
Let me just bring up the website of Crossing the Water so people
yes,
can have an idea what it's all about. So let me see if I can bring this up. And here it is. Okay. Yes, and you guys should be able to see it there. Crossing
yes,
the Waters. Uh, seems like a wonderful organization
it
to
is.
me,
Yes,
especially looking at the mission.
yes,
Especially
yes,
looking at the mission.
yes,
But while looking through it, Sanjay,
yes,
and looking at some of the people in it,
yeah,
I didn't really see any men as such. What's up with that?
because it is a
Are men
woman-run
involved in this?
organization. It doesn't mean that men, we have worked and collaborated with men, but
Uh-huh.
it's a woman-run organization. It's we run it.
Organization. Okay.
So
You run the thing. All right.
so that's what it is about. And the work. Well, first of all, the way that the organization came to be came out of a pilgrimage that was taken in the 90s, in the late 90s, I think between 98 and 99, where our um, founder, her name is Ingrid Askew, and you
Mm-hmm.
will see information about her on the website.
Yeah, I was reading some. Yep.
She uh, co facilitated, co organized a pilgrimage um, that took our the descendants of the enslaved Africans who were taken back across the Atlantic. So they did the journey in reverse and
Mm-hmm.
walked back. They walked back to Africa. So it started in Leverett in Massachusetts, and they walked all the way
Uh,
down the eastern seaboard down to Florida, and then they took a boat over to Cuba, and they walked in Cuba, and then they went to Haiti, and they walked in Haiti, and some of
wow.
them went down to Brazil, and others went to Jamaica, and they walked in Jamaica. They left Jamaica, went to uh, Puerto Rico and walked in Puerto Rico, and then from Puerto Rico they flew to West Africa, and then they walked all of those Western African nations. I think there were some, I think, like Sierra Leone and others, where there was so much turmoil going that it wasn't safe for them to be there. But they went to Nigeria and Togo and Benin and Ghana and all these places, Senegal and others. And
Wow.
they wanted to end the pilgrimage in a place of hope. And at the time, it was coming to the end of Mandela's presidency.
Inquisition. Wow.
Yes, and so that is where that why they ended up in South Africa, and so that was from then. And Ingrid ended up she went to Johannesburg, but did not connect with
hmm
it. But when she went to Cape Town, she felt like she landed in a place that she could call home. She ended up staying there for 10 years.
10 years. Wow.
Actually, yeah, yeah, living there for 10 years and working and so on until, after that time she returned to the States to see her grandchildren grow up. But out of that experience of the pilgrimage, which was so life changing for the people who participated in it and herself, she founded this organization, Crossing the Waters, of course, Crossing the Waters,
hmm
Institute for Cultural Exchange. So she's a theater artist of many years
Okay.
experience and talent, and just amazing uh, genius in terms of her work and with the people that she has worked with. So part of the mission of this organization is to do an exchange, bring people from South Africa to the United States to work in the arts
Okay.
with our people here, and to bring people from the United States to
From
South
the
Africa.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Sonji, you are going to be our eyes and ears. We have heard of South Africa for ages.
Hmm.
Ages. It has this mystical, aura about it.
Yeah.
Especially, I don't know if you remember when the Shaka Zulu movie came out.
Right.
Everybody, wa-
All the
everybody
rest
who
is
is of
Shaka Zulu
West,
movie. Yes.
yeah, everybody who is of Western African descent no
Yes.
wanted to be Zulu,
Yes.
including Oprah. Now,
That's true.
what what is South Africa like? Explain to us. What is it like? I mean, the climate, the environment.
I think
Explain to us.
it has like different provinces, both different aspects of it. And I actually didn't go to these other, cities like Durban and Joburg. I really didn't make it there.
Okay.
To go into the province of KwaZulu Natal. I really wanted to go there, but I didn't get an opportunity because the trip was so intensive. I was in Cape Town, and Cape Town has a kind of more laid back vibe. As a matter of fact, there are things about Cape Town that kind of remind me of Jamaica.
Mhm.
Um, I guess because we have some oppressors in common, and so there are some things, the architecture, and there's some things, even some old, products. I walk into a supermarket and find Brooklocks and you know yes, all of these things that from your chat from
Yeah.
your kid, growing up in Jamaica. And then because Cape Town is a seaport town, so there's the ocean, so there are beaches there, and so it gives you, so different parts of Cape Town, like there's a particular um uh town near Muizenberg that I really like, but there are tons of other places, like you have Camps Bay and Cork Bay and all these various bays that have
Uh-huh.
their landscape is just magical. And in Cape Town, where you can see Table Mountain, like wherever
Yeah.
you are in Cape Town, you have
I
a
can see it.
view, yes, of Table Mountain. And Table Mountain just has this just fascinating magical pull and a majesty about it. I really resonated with the place, with the landscape, the physical place.
Mhm.
Being there, it really mattered to me. And then, of course, that Mary Makeba is from South Africa, right? So,
Right.
um, my father named me Makeba, um,
Yep. I remember
and
that. Hmm.
so all of my life, I have had this fascination with South Africa for that. for that reason, because I connected so much with Miriam Makeba, who she is, and her music, and the struggle, as we are familiar with the struggle against apartheid that South Africans have fought for decades on end. And so I really have always had this fascination and this real deep interest in going to South Africa. And I wanted to go into these townships where, sometimes when you look on these movies and you see during the apartheid regime, when the police used to come into these townships and attack the people and beat them and so on. And those townships are still there. Now that apartheid is gone, but the structures are still very much in place, and that is one of the unfortunate things about it, because you can clearly see that white supremacy is alive and well in South Africa. And
Give me some of the examples. Give me some of the examples of the remnants of white supremacy. Give me some of the examples that you have seen that tells you that, hey, apartheid was.
Well, for one thing, the townships in the condition that they are still there in the same with the shacks. These are unresourced communities where Black people are kind of herded into these communities, and the communities are under resourced. And so and that is still very much a part of. There's high unemployment, high crime, all the things that you would want, the opportunities that you would want for children and young people and so on. They're not there to the extent that they actually should be, and so people struggle. They really struggle, life hard, in these places. And then by contrast, you can see the white South Africans and others, even though you do have a rising middle and upper middle class of indigenous African people. You know what I'm saying? So it's, you do see that there are lots of South Africans who are native to South Africa who are doing very well. But really, as a group, in terms of the volume of the population that is suffering with unemployment and high crime and lack of resources, it is indigenous South Africans. While you don't see that with there's no such community of white people.
Of whites, okay. But we grew up idolizing Mandela and Tutu.
Yeah.
How how do the Africans here know? How do they look at these two gentlemen? Do they just say, "Hey, those are all dead guys," or is there that uh,
They
worship?
revere Mandela. They revere, as a
Revere?
matter of
Okay,
fact, it's a Mandela's face on all the money. You know, you get the rand, and you see. And I don't even have any, because I was so broke when I was coming. I didn't come home with the rand. That I could actually show you what it
mhm,
looks like. But it's Mandela's image that's on the money, the paper money at least. That's there, and he is huge in the country. So no, they have not forgotten Mandela. um but I think one of the things that they struggle with, and which is a remnant of the apartheid regime, is the fact that um Black people in South Africa were not given um, quality education or proper training, job training and all of that kind of thing. And I think it is coming home to roost now, where you can see it. You see it in the police force, because now you have,
right. Mhm.
Black South Africans who are police officers.
Yes.
More of them into social service and customer service and so on. And then
Uh-huh.
you really see how they lack
Right.
the.
And don't you think it was something intentional?
Of
Not
course it
giving them
is.
the training, right? Mhm.
Oh, most definitely.
Wow.
Yes. But then you see, when people do that kind of stuff, you see, when people try to keep people down by not um affording them the opportunities that they deserve, we all suffer. We all suffer, even the ones who claim that they're at the top of
Or at the top, yeah. Mhm.
yeah, so it impoverishes everyone. And it is, and that is part of why the work actually that my organization does there is to go into these townships and work with the local people. So one of the things that we did before we left was to set up an after school program um there, and
Okay,
to
wait. Hold on, Sonji. Before
yeah,
we get to education,
yeah,
something I've always been curious about
yeah.
with Mandela Tutu, how does the average South African, how do they see Winnie? Any idea?
Um Winnie is, they love Winnie,
Hmm.
Yes. Winnie is revered. They do. And even though that there's like a politics and so on,
Yeah. Hmm.
where Winnie was concerned. But by and large, in my experience of being there and
Uh-huh.
interacting with people, Winnie is revered.
All right.
Um,
Something I always argue about, and I always wanted to find a black South African to talk to them about this. What are their feelings, or what were their feelings when Mandela took over and then decided, hey, let's forgive these white oppressors? How does the average African see that?
I think that the as a nation that they bought into it, that they went along with it. And why I'm saying that, I'm probably much more than they should have, from in my humble opinion. No, I don't come from there, and I just did go there for some months. So, so I'm not going to speak with no authority.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, from my observation and in my interactions
Hmm.
with the South Africans that I had the privilege of working with and getting to know, they believed in what Mandela was doing with with what they call it, Truth and Something Commission, right? So
Yeah, I can't
Truth
remember
and
that.
Reconciliation something, right? And so much so, because when I went to Robben Island, I
Hmm.
visited Robben Island to to do a tour and so on, and they use people who were actually prisoners in Robben Island to conduct the
Uh-huh.
tours. So these are people who are speaking from a place of their own personal experience
First-hand
of being
experience.
there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And so it makes the tour that much more moving and more meaningful, and so on. And I did ask that question of one of the tour guides about, where did you put the resentment, the trauma,
Yep. Hmm.
the anger even. And the gentleman said, well, we had an opportunity to openly talk about these things, and to meet the people who uh perpetrated these wickedness against
Wow.
us.
They're
And
better men. They're better men than I am.
That better, some said too, I have to say,
That's better.
there they
They wanted a Mugabe,
I
right?
committing to Gary. And to be honest, and I probably shouldn't be talking this online, but I mean, I went there and get into some tracing with some white people. In the
I knew you had to. I knew you had to. I knew you had to.
so in the neighborhood where we stayed, right, is a neighborhood
Mhm.
called Pinelands. It's one of the older neighborhoods that was an exclusively white neighborhood during the apartheid regime.
Okay.
Uh, our host, her name is Vuiswa Lamfiti, is a Xhosa woman. So she's a
Wait. How
black
do you
South
pronounce that
African.
word?
Xhosa.
Kosa. That's
Xhosa.
Xosa.
Yes.
Kosa. Oh, okay. Good.
So, but it's a click. The
Yeah.
closer is
Yeah.
a, yeah.
Right.
So,
Mm.
so that's the other thing too. So I had to practice my clicks, you
Okay.
know.
Mm.
So, but anyway, so she has this property that is right smack in the middle of, we say, in the smack in the middle of Harvard Tree, right in the middle of among these whites who have lived there, many of them for years,
For
even during
years.
the apartheid time. So you would not see black people in this neighborhood unless they were reporting to work as maids or gardeners or whatever, right? And she has some neighbors to her, I think the right side of her, white, who are quite hostile, like they don't think that she should be there,
Should be there. Okay.
and we exchange words,
Wow. Okay.
and they heightened the wall. So one of the things in Africa that I didn't think I enjoyed too much is that people tend to have these very high walls and these
I
huge
was.
gates, these,
These compounds, huh?
yeah, and so you don't get to see your neighbors or to interact with them very much. And these people, the wall is high, but there's a window of their house,
Mm.
excuse me, that looks, that
That
if
looks
they're
okay.
standing in the house, they can look into our backyard,
Okay.
right? And so in the morning, sometimes when they would come out, there was a pool, there's a swimming pool in our backyard where we're staying. So I used to like to go out there in the mornings and just sit by the pool with a cup of tea or something. And Miss Lady, when she come to the window, she would be looking over at in the yard, and me and her I make four, and she was not enjoying it. So all she did, she came and she got her workmen to heighten the wall.
Wow.
Yeah, she did that. And then one day was asking one of our workmen to climb the wall from his side,
Mm.
because there are some trees that grow right alongside the wall,
Mm.
but it's in our yard. And the man was stretching over and like trying to saw off a limb from our tree. So I stopped him. I said, "Oh, you can be sawing off limb in somebody else's yard. This is not your tree." So he climbed down and went and he told Miss Lady. And Miss Lady climbed the ladder and came, and she and took accost us as yeah. She says, "I don't want anything from over there growing over here. And that limb is going to be hanging over my wall in like 5 minutes, and I want it cut." And I said, "But miss, you cannot dictate how somebody else's tree grow that is not on your property." So we are our trees. And I just reminded her. I said, "You are in Africa. This is Africa. Try and remember that."
So you go, how many miles you get the couscous, eh?
Yes, man,
Le-
because it did burn. So
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rock the Mic. We have here as our guest Dr. Sonji Johnson Anderson talking about her recent trip to South Africa, representing Crossing the Waters Institute for Cultural Exchange. Yes, yes, Sonji, continue. Continue,
yes,
man. I
so
hope I didn't break your train of thought.
no. So it's so those kinds of hostility, so I just use that as an example to say that there
Mhm.
are those whites, they're very much still expect,
Still entrenched. Mhm.
when you encounter them in the supermarket aisle, you're walking in the aisle and they're looking at you, expecting, you see, for you to lower your eyes and step
Yeah,
aside
yeah.
so that they can pass.
Hmm.
And they know immediately that they have not encountered a South African, because
Yes, because
first of
you
all,
know
me
do
look them straight at their face and me
that.
now move,
Yep.
you know.
So I must go. So
So,
it must
so
go.
they understand, but you see, the sad thing about it is that, because what this is what apartheid has done to
Mhm.
South Africans in a huge way, and it has beat them down so much that they are still
Yeah.
very often, um, I feel, in this kind of subordinated,
Yeah, it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a
yeah,
while, just like Jim
yeah,
Crow has over
yes,
here.
yes,
All
yes.
right.
So, so that is and so, because we know that, and because we know that the white South Africans have this expectation of black people, all the more defiant. We were quite defiant,
Hmm.
um, being there in attitude, not not hostile, but Africa, we there. In the
Yeah.
States, when they curse us out, white people curse us out and tell us, go back to Africa. This is what they tell us, eh? Go back to Africa, whatnot. Well, I am in Africa now. See me here, me come.
Right. Okay. Sonji, education wise, because I know you're big on education and you are an advocate for kids who are, disadvantaged.
Yeah.
How did you find it there in South Africa, especially in the Soweto township? Equal opportunity or what?
Um, no, no.
Mhm.
Again, because these in Langa Township,
Mhm.
um, so they have tons of when I say a lot of different townships. So there's the one we did a lot of the work in was is called Langa, but there are others.
Longer.
Like there's one like
Mhm.
Kailicha is, I think, one of the biggest townships, if I know certainly in Cape Town, but is one of the biggest in the country. It has over 1 million people. That is one
Wow.
township with over 1 million
One
people.
township. Mhm.
Kailicha. And then there you have Delft and you have Dunoon and you have, so you have all these different, locations where people live and have schools. So in Langa alone, there are like 5 or 6 primary schools. And
Okay.
and certainly because the community is under resourced, you can imagine that also impacts the kind of uh, schooling experience that the students have
Mhm.
because of the lack of resources and stuff. Which is also why we wanted to do this after school program. Years ago, when Ingrid would work there's a cultural center, beautiful cultural center in Nalanga Township where we did most of the work. Um, when she would be conducting her theater arts um, programs, children from school, local children would come by in the cultural center to come and observe and so on, and the adults around would
Mhm.
run them, would, tell them that like they're a bother and they get in
Ah.
the way and so on, and she didn't like that. So it was her dream to find something, because she used to take the kids in and said, okay, come and sit and
Mhm.
watch, so that people wouldn't hug them and run them and
Mhm.
and do these things. Uh, so we wanted to start. She wanted to start this after school program, which is what we did, because there was nothing after school for the kids to do.
After
So when
school
school
plan.
is
Mhm.
finished, nothing, no planned activity for them. They would just be running around with nothing really structured to do, and so which is why it was a necessity. But going into the schools and meeting these children, oh my goodness, Gary, these kids are like the kids of back in our time when we were in high school and
Mhm.
in primary school, in terms of their manner, in terms of,
Wow.
you know just wonderful, wonderful young people. You just want to, I didn't want to have to leave there. And everybody in South Africa sing, so they love sing. So when you
Yeah.
go to these, they just burst out in song, according to Ingrid. So she always says they just burst out in song. It's the most amazing. It is the most amazing thing I think about this country, is that these people, they sing. You're standing. I went to a concert with a friend, with
Mhm.
our host. Took me to a concert, right? The concert finished. Thousands of people at this concert, big old stage show, and we're leaving. And so, of course, you have waves of people, tons of people coming out to go to their cars and to go look boss and whatnot have you. And as they are coming, groups of people who don't know each other just a sing together. And when you hear, I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like it. And I was so
Is
fascinated.
that is that the flash? We call it flash mob.
Yes, yes, Harry. Sing, they just burst into song, and when you hear them sing, it sound like a choir, because they naturally harmonize.
Okay.
So people, strangers who don't know each other on the street, who sing, they just sing, and the harmony just comes. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
Wow.
I've never seen anything like it. And they sing and they sing and they dance and oh, it is wonderful. When I went home and I was telling Ingrid about it, and she looked at me, she says, "You're so new," because she says,
It's a common thing, everyday thing.
"Yes, yes, yes." What
Wait,
really
in the
fascinates
school,
me.
wait, so in the schools,
Uh-huh.
is it in most countries it's the females who teach. What is it like in Soweto? Are they bringing in male
It,
teachers? Do you have a lot of men coming into the educational system?
you do. I have seen. I don't know what the stats are,
Hmm.
but from what I did attend one kind of it was kind of it was a presentation, but it was a
Uh-huh.
presentation by one of the educators. Can't remember the man name, Lord Jesus. Janus, I think is his last name, because I think he sits on the board of Oprah's
Okay.
school.
Okay.
And
Hmm.
he was making a presentation, and he's very well known. So he had all these educators from all over Cape Town to come to it. And just anecdotally looking at the attendance and who was there and so on, there were, teaching tends to be more heavily female, which it was,
Female.
but there were, it was about a 60-40 split.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
What
and
about the
when
size
you,
of what about the size of these primary schools compared to say our primary schools in Jamaica? What about the size?
about the
Bigger,
same.
small? About the same? Okay.
Yeah, they're not small
Mhm.
at all, because a lot of children, you know, um,
Okay.
the high school, you have different size high schools, but they're about like 1,300, 1,500 students,
Okay. Hmm.
that not, none of the monstrosities like what I encountered when I went to New York with 5,000
Hmm.
students and so on,
Okay.
you
And the
know.
kids still carry their exercise book and
And and
teachers still
and
write on chalkboard. Hmm.
and yes, our whiteboard, they have whiteboards
Hmm.
there. One of the schools that we are hoping to do more work with is actually not even a permanent structure. The school is a
Okay.
collection of storage um,
Containers.
containers.
Okay.
Yes, and so they are arranged, I guess, on the premises and whatnot, and these include the classrooms and the classrooms and offices and bathrooms and so on. All of it, storage containers on the compound. But yet, when you go to this school, it's a school in a township called Fulani. It's school named Bardale High School, and I may have sent you some pictures with those students in green
Hmm.
uniform. Ah, what a wonderful, wonderful experience! And I went more than once to this school and
Hmm.
got an opportunity to sit in the classroom and observe teachers teaching, because that is also part of what I am hoping to do there, is
Mm.
to do
Okay.
teacher training um with staff in these schools. So I go in
Hmm.
and I observe, like how you would, student
Yeah.
teachers, and with the view to returning and doing work with the
Doing
teachers
something. Hmm.
there, staff development and so on. But it's just the wonderful energy. They talk about the students, oh, they're naughty. I think the language is so quaint, and they're saying, oh, they're complaining. Here, at this particular school, their issue with the students is that they're hiding and smoking, and the principal is looking at me and saying, I know that you've taught in the States. Now, what do you do with the students? When they do that? I said, my dear, I wish and pray that that would be
That
the
was the problem.
problem.
At least they hide, right?
Yes. I said, I wish that were the problem that we had in the States. Students hiding and smoking.
Hiding. At least they hide.
Are you kidding?
Oh my God.
I said,
Anyway, Sonji,
yes,
Sonji, hold on, Sonji.
yeah,
We heard that while you were there, you were inducted. I don't know how to say. You were inducted into the Zulu tribe, or you were made a
not this.
honorary Zulu. Please
I
explain to us how that happened.
okay.
Mm.
I I
And I'm
got
gonna show
there.
one of the pictures.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So okay. So there is this woman. Her name is Fatima DK. And you'll see her on our website, right? So
Hmm.
she's a nationally acclaimed playwright in South Africa and known internationally as well.
Okay.
And she has worked with our organization, but she's really personal friend of our organization's leader, Ingrid Askew. They are very tight, like best friends.
Hmm.
Um, and I went there intending to work with, we call her Fats, intending to work alongside her because she does, as a playwright and as a theater artist, she also works with schools,
Hmm.
um, students who are seniors, in their final year of high school. A part of the um, curriculum and the expectation is that they will read a play that is written in
Hmm.
home language. Of course, in South Africa, it's another thing. They have 11 official
Whoa. Whoa.
languages,
11.
right? Yes. And including English and Afrikaans, right? So in uh in Cape Town, where I am, the predominant language among the home language of the Black South Africans,
Hmm.
I hate to use that term, indigenous South
Yeah.
Africans,
Yep.
is Xhosa, right? And so the teachers who are teaching it in the schools where that is a home language that the students need to master,
Hmm.
they are a little bit inexperienced with teaching the play, in the script form so that the students can understand it and so on. So what Fats does is that she takes these plays and she stages them. So she has a cast
Okay.
of people that she works with, and then she produces these plays, and then the
Producer. Okay.
schools come and they watch the performances, and it helps them with the understanding and getting the context and everything like that and so on and so forth. So that is the work that she does. um and in working with her, I tell you the truth, Gary, I really honestly don't even know how the conversation got started about her adopting me into her clan. What she said to me, say she's going to adopt me into her clan, and I was like, oh
Hmm.
yes, and her clan is called the Hatebe clan, right?
Yeah, I'm
So
looking at the spelling.
yes, right? So that
I'm gonna put it on the
RH
board. Hmm.
sound in the Xhosa language is it's a very harsh, like you're
Yeah.
coughing up coal.
You're gonna spit. Yeah.
Yes. And so it's a Hatebe clan. And she's saying she says she loves the clan system because if you share ancestry with someone, because some people still when they're introducing themselves, rather than introduce themselves as, say, your Gary Waller or whatever, you introduce yourself with your clan name.
Okay.
And so, if there are other people from your clan who are around there, instantly that kinship is formed, and those
Okay. All
people
right.
respond to you. And I experienced it on my return home in at the airport because
Wow.
our friends accompanied us and told one of the women that was helping us to get checked in and so on, and said she's Mahatebe. So the Ma part of that word is that I am a female Khatebe,
Oh.
and
Okay.
the woman's manner, she was in shock. She was like, huh? And I got wonderful
Special,
treatment thereafter.
special treatment.
Yes, because we are in the same clan. So
Hmm.
what has happened is that I got adopted into the clan, but it's not just a matter of saying, okay, I'm going to adopt you, and so you're in.
Hmm.
It is a whole process, and so she had to confer with the elders of her clan,
With the
the
elders.
ones, the,
Okay.
the local ones, and they had um to go and seek permission from the ancestors to say
Okay.
that it is acceptable for me to be adopted into the clan. So there's a whole ritual aspect of
Hmm.
my
Yeah,
becoming.
I'm gonna show a picture. And what is your new name? How the heck do you pronounce that?
It is Nomti. It is it Nomti. It's pronounced Nomti, meaning mother tree, or
Mm-hmm.
Nomtimkulu, the daughter
Mm-hmm.
of Timkulu, who is one of our ancestors. So
Okay.
there is a, I don't want to call it a hierarchy, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
an ancestral tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you are part of a clan, you have to know who your ancestors are. So Hatebe is the one that started the clan. Then you have
The clan. Okay.
Imtimkulu, you have Mashwabada, you have
Wow.
uh all of these various ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
And Timkulu, again, as part of the clan system, there is a praise poem. So Nelson Mandela had a praise poet. So whenever he would
Yeah.
before he would
Okay.
make a presentation or whatever, the praise poet would come out and
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
recite the praise poem of his clan.
Okay.
And so I have a praise poem too for my clan that
What?
I have to.
Oh God. Yes, I remember watching. I remember being fascinated by that thing on
Yes,
Shackle Zulu where this poet would come out and oh my
yes,
God.
yes. So there's
Mm.
a yeah, yeah. And so these two tribes, like the Zulus and the Xhosas, are like cousins. And the language is mutually intelligible.
Okay. So Sonji, I'm gonna show a picture. I'm gonna show a few of your pictures. So
Yeah.
explain to us what this is all about. Yeah.
So that picture is of me on the day when we actually had the ritual of
Mm-hmm.
when I became Nomti Mkulu, uh that day. And that the dress that I am wearing is a traditional Xhosa dress called a khlubi. And the face paint is all part of my get up.
Does that fabric have meaning? The patterns, or is it just something they beautify the thing with?
No, well, okay, so what is around my neck is bead work, right?
Oh,
it
it's
looks
beadwork.
like
Okay.
it looks like lace, but it's bead work. And it's what
Okay.
it is what the South Africans, there's a lot of bead work that is done there, beautiful bead work.
Mm-hmm.
Not all bead workers are equal, but the one that did
Mm-hmm.
this color for me
Yeah,
is just
that's lovely.
outstanding. It's beautiful. The traditional closer wear there with the lines and so on, it
Mm-hmm.
has all kinds of meanings, my dear, which I am still learning about. But that, if you notice, it's very different from, say, a dress like what I'm wearing now with this pattern that you could say, okay, it's a
Yeah.
nice
Mm-hmm.
African print. But when you see that, it's with the lines. And
Right.
then there
Mm-hmm.
are different lines, because when you're married, the lines, the patterning of the lines are different, a little different than if you're
Okay.
unmarried, and so on.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And they
All right.
adorn it with buttons. They use buttons and that kind of, and beads and beadwork.
Wow.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff.
All
So
right.
so
Them
this
cool.
day was the day when I was presented to my ancestors, and I
All right.
became Nomtim Kulu.
Mountain
Um,
cool. What a
yes.
name. Okay, good. Let me show you another picture here. Who are the? Tell us what's going
So
on here.
so on my facing me on my right is our uh venerable leader Ingrid Askew.
Mm-hmm.
And on the left of me, also came with us, her name is Amai Monkus.
Mm-hmm.
And she was also on the pilgrimage with Ingrid from way back in the 90s
Okay.
when they walked
Mm-hmm.
back to Africa. But she is a choreographer, dancer, choreographer,
Okay.
and
Mm-hmm.
she is the leader of this dance form, which is a collection of dance forms from the diaspora called Umfundalai. And so she is the master of Umfundalai dance tradition. And so she was there to that was her contribution
Oh,
to
all right.
our
Mm-hmm.
team. and you'll see her
All
also
right.
on the website.
All right. Let me. Yeah. I've seen. No, tell us about this picture.
So that is me and Joshua.
Yes. This trip
um
was so important that you had to take your son, right?
yes, so Josh accompanied us, so he was there on the 3 months. We need to, spending the 3 months as our videographer and photographer.
Mhm.
And so we are out in the yard standing before that pot. They were cooking
Yes.
in
So
that
look at
pot.
some big dumpling.
Yes. So yes, and that pot is very important. So that pot um had the chicken and whatnot, because we had to, they slaughtered chicken and so on some days leading up
Mhm.
to the final, but then, and of course the chicken was cooked in that pot. And that big tree that we're standing underneath is
Mhm.
the Mtimkulu. So it's kind of a reverence for these huge trees, because in the praise poem it talks about Mtimkulu, of the big tree. Each
Okay.
one of the ancestors and their names is associated with a particular uh attribute. you
Okay.
know
Is that a pipe in your hand?
yes.
So you,
um
you go ahead and smoke too.
no. No, but a part of the Xhosa tradition is
Uh-huh.
is so that's a pipe that the women, and that pipe too is done up in with bead work. So sometimes,
Okay.
it can be like a walking stick, or the pipe is a part of the whole
No
get up.
symbolism.
But they actually smoke the pipe. I was just holding it for show. It's but yeah, it's part of the tradition.
All
It is
right.
very much part of the Xhosa tradition.
And there you and
So
Joshua again.
yes, yes. And underneath that
You and her
tree,
son, man.
that's
Oh, okay.
all of her. She says she buried the navel string of all of our children is buried underneath that tree.
Oh, they do that there too. Okay,
Yes, they
good.
do.
Okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And that's where we
All
get
right.
it from. So this
This
woman
third
that is standing
mhm.
there is Vuiswa Lamfiti, and she is the person who hosted us in Pinelands.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
yes. Um,
Closer up.
so
Okay,
it
doke.
was there she is, and this is in Langa. So this is at Fatima DK's house, because that is where,
Okay.
I'm part of her clan, and that is where the ritual took place.
All right.
That is one of
No.
the elders of the clan. So he has the job of like the priest, so the one who will consult with the ancestors about my being accepted into the clan, and whether the
Oh, okay.
ancestors gave permission.
Is he like the people they call? Is he like the person they call the griot?
um Not but the grill is really kind of more like the storyteller, but he's more like
Yeah.
the,
Oh,
the, the
okay.
best the best I think the equivalent, he would be like kind of the equivalent of like a priest, the
Priest.
one
Okay.
who go between, the priest from the Old Testament, in the Old Testament
Okay.
sense, the one who goes between us and the
Okay.
ancestors. So he goes and he consults, and they determined that the ancestors said, yes, we want her. And
The treat for you.
yes, and because they can't, and they do take it seriously, because if they
Hmm.
felt like the ancestors were saying no, I would
Hmm.
not have been
Okay.
adopted into the clan.
I noticed his features. I used to read about a group from South Africa called the San people,
Yes,
SAN.
yes, yes,
Is
yes, yes,
yes,
yes.
yeah, okay, good. Good. He
And
has
so,
those
and
features.
even Vuiswa, if you go back, but she has San ancestry.
Yeah, I see the sun in him.
Yes,
You
so,
remember, did you ever watch that movie, The Gods Must Be Crazy?
yes, I did.
When I
Yes,
saw it,
yes.
I thought, yeah, okay, good. Oh, okay.
Yes,
All
and many
right,
of
good.
so there is a racial group, I
Mm,
guess, in South Africa. They call it the Coloureds, right?
mm,
And many of those people, the Coloureds, have that ancestry as well. So when you see
Okay.
them, you know
Yeah,
you can see
you
the
can.
distinctive look,
Yeah, you can see it.
and but they're
I heard
also
the
mixed.
I heard the whites almost hunted them to extinction.
Yes, yes, yes. So
Wow.
Vuiswa also has that ancestry, her father.
All
So
right, now
yes,
let's go to this.
yes.
What am I looking at here?
This is Nelson Mandela's cell
Robin Island.
in Robben Island. Yes.
They never
And
even get him on a bed, eh?
no, and he couldn't even stretch himself out because he was very tall. And as you can see, the dimension of the
Yes,
cell is
yeah,
like
it's a tiny
he
room.
was not able to at any point stretch out, like lay down straight.
Wow. And
Um
that's all he had in the room.
that was it. He had that the mat, that thing, the blanket, which, if you remember those kind of blankets that have the juki, um
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
what it is.
That-
That's what that is. That is
wow.
folded up there. And that little stool, and a red bucket, which was like the slop jar.
And for me, go through that for 20 odd years and then come out and
I'm
peace. No.
telling you. I'm telling you. So
No.
that's the cell. That is it. You know.
Mm.
And I
Oh.
I took the picture so that it would not have the bars on it, because they have stopped allowing people to go in. There was a time when people could tour and be
Mhm.
allowed, and they were allowed to go inside, to actually go and stand inside the cell, but they stopped doing it. I can't remember why they said, but I put my camera inside so that it would not be obstructed by the bars that's there, but
By the
I
bars.
wasn't able to go into the cell itself.
Where the great man resided.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So, and it was a very moving experience to
I
have
can
gone,
imagine. I can imagine.
you know,
I can
and
imagine.
to hear and to walk in
And
the
for
place,
Joshua to
how
see
they
something
have
like this. Mhm.
people out in the yard. When you see some of the pictures with the men sitting out in the yard in front of this pile of rocks,
Mhm.
it's
And
kind of an
they
iconic
go
picture of Robin
and,
Island, where you have the
and they
men
have to
sitting
break
out.
rocks.
Right, right. So the rocks, that yard is just outside the window here. Um,
Mhm.
Out in the yard, we were able to walk out there
Uh,
and to see.
where is this now? Is that the
So I think we were walking. So this is, walking, touring Robin Island. At points you were
oh, it's
able
the
to get
Robin
out.
Island. Mhm.
Yeah.
How big is the island?
It Then tell me the dimensions, but I don't it's a pretty big place because people live there now.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just a prison.
No, well,
Mhm.
people who live there are people who have some kind of association or
With it. Okay.
connection too. But you have, there's a church, you have, residences
Okay.
there.
All right.
It's a pretty big place, a sprawling,
Oh.
and there's parts of it where where there are no buildings or anything, because there's also wildlife. I think it's like kind of a little sanctuary for birds
Oh,
and stuff.
okay.
So
Oh,
so
I thought it was
yeah.
a very small. Okay, this is
Mm-mm.
inside the prison now.
Yes, so that's in the
Mhm.
passage, and that's Joshua standing, and
Okay.
also those are all cells on both
Wow.
sides of that passage. And you see how narrow it is
That,
there.
that man is a saint, man.
Yeah, yeah. So that is
That
still
man is
Robin
of
Island.
Robin Island.
Yeah, just different
Were
parts of
do
the
you know if
prison.
were there executions carried out on the island?
Um, I don't not I don't know that they have any official. It's a good question, Gary. I'm not entirely sure, but but then beat people so much that was the execution. How they beat
Yep.
and ill
Hmm.
treat people, and then they disappear, and nobody knows,
Wow.
where they went, what happened. They lost quite a number of people through that, the ill treatment, the beatings. You know.
Oh. What's this you're looking at now? What are these
So
kids
this that
who
you
are
are
just
looking at are our sweet little ones in our after school program. and they are inside of the theater space at the Guga
Hmm.
Sebi Cultural Center. So they were involved. I think, what was it? What were they doing? They were deciding what rules they thought were reasonable rules for them to
For them,
follow
okay.
in their, so they were in groups making up their own rule, and they came up with some good
Okay.
rules, and I'm telling you, when they tell,
Wow.
keep the place clean and be respectful, and all of that. Those little ones that you see there, they are such sweethearts. Oh my goodness, I look at them now and I miss them.
Go back to Bronx. Go back to Bronx.
Yes.
Uh,
So that's them
and
again
this.
in the circle. See Josh in the background there with his
Yep.
video camera, and that young lady standing is the one that is in charge. Her name is Trebisa Peter, and she is the one who is leading. She's not the only one that is employed to the program, but she is the
Mhm.
our lead person. Really good, very capable, very, very smart
Mhm.
young woman.
And these kids just sit there, nobody running up and down like
I'm telling
a
you, that's
demon.
them. Yeah,
Eh?
and you see their faces, and that cultural center is just rich with artwork. You see that artwork behind them. The whole place is just
Okay.
like its own work of art. The tiles and the walls, and it's just a beautiful space. It's just a
Wow.
beautiful space for them. So it is only right that they get the opportunity to be
Uh-huh.
there, and to go there for the after school program.
Wait, in the townships, is there good water supply? Is there running water, or do they
Yeah,
still have to
man.
carry water for? Okay,
No,
good.
they
Okay.
no, they have good running water. They have good running water and so on. Depending though on where, because
Yeah.
there are parts of some townships where people don't have access to running water,
Uh-huh.
and they have to go to a common, like a pipe stand,
A pipes. Yeah.
and they
Okay.
don't have bathroom facilities. So in some townships, you see they have the porters, and the
Oh, okay.
portable, yeah, lined up, and
Wow.
and the condition not good, so I,
Mhm.
I don't want to use Langa, because Langa is one of the oldest townships. This year it celebrates 100 years of existence.
Wow.
Langa Township. And there are other townships that do not, as much as Langa is suffering in terms of resources, lack of
Hmm.
resources. There are other townships that are worse. And there are parts of Langa that where people don't have the amenities that you were asking about, like the running water and the bathroom facilities and that kind of stuff. It's not there in some parts of Langa.
So, Sanji, if somebody wants to give to the Crossing the Waters Institute,
Yes.
can they just go to the website
Yes. Please
and
go
give?
to the
Because
website.
I understand it's a 501c
Yes, yes,
organization, so you
yes,
get to claim
yes,
your taxes. Okay.
yes.
Any
So,
plans on going back
oh yes, we are planning with the proper with the adequate funding to return in July.
in July? Oh wow!
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be another year or so before you go. You're
No,
wow.
because we have these programs that we're trying to set up and get going, and we really want to sort of
Mhm.
nurture them uh so that they can be sustainable, when
Okay.
we're not there. And so we want to return. That is the plan, to return in July, if all things, go as we would have them, to be there in July and August. And
And how long will you stay? Oh, 2 months or three or
two
what?
months this time
2 months.
around. And then, because Crossing the Waters um, came out of the pilgrimage that I started out telling you about,
Hmm.
um, um, actually, 2025, we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of the ending of the pilgrimage. It would have
Okay.
ended, I think, as it ended in 99, but we're doing it for 2000, like, So it will be a part of the celebration will happen in Ouida in Benin. And so we are going to visit Benin. The plan is for us to go
Mm-hmm.
and visit Benin in January of 24
24. Okay.
in
Wow.
in terms of helping to set things up for the actual celebration of the 25th anniversary in
Anniversary.
January
Mhm.
25.
So, listeners, if you are of the mindset to give, I'm not saying you have to give tonight, but just remember it's
Yes,
www.crossingthewaters.co.za. So
yes,
remember that, okay? Crossing the
yes,
Waters Institute for Cultural Exchange, and it's a 501c. So you will get it back with the taxes.
yes, yes.
They're doing a
And
worthy thing, and I think they need help.
yes, we do. And I would encourage, your listeners, anybody who listen to you and who is interested in this kind of work, in seeing the advancement of our people, because our people are dispersed all around. And South Africa, the work that we're doing there is necessary work. It is serious work, and we are very committed to doing it. We have a very talented group of um, of people who comprise this team of
Mhm.
professionals doing work in South Africa, and we really want to expand the impact, and make it a bigger impact and have a bigger footprint there. So we encourage
Okay.
you
Hmm.
to give generously. Call your rich
Generously.
friends. Call your rich friends. All the friend them that have enough money.
No,
Call them up
but
and
wow.
you and
And you,
donate.
okay. Yes.
Because when you go on the website, it's very easy. As you start reading,
Yeah,
you'll see
yeah, it's a
donate button. Just click
well
and
laid out
donate and add your
website.
name.
No
Add your name.
frills. Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Add your
but
name to the to the contact to
all right.
our list,
Well,
and you will get also our newsletters, so you can
all right.
follow what it is that we are doing as
Okay. Yeah,
time goes
yeah.
by.
Once I saw you in South Africa, seemed like a good cause. But we
Yes,
need other organizations to spread out from top all the way down the coast, so we can take
absolutely.
care of all our ancestors. But
Yes.
Sonji, is there anything that we forgot to touch on that you'd like to mention? Is there anything that I didn't remember to ask you? Since you have a better memory than me these days.
Um, that's a very good question now, Gary, and I really don't want to lose this opportunity to just to 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 highlight kind of the work um that we are doing. We are getting ready to celebrate our 25th anniversary, like I said, and there will be a
Hmm.
series of events to highlight that coming up. um, and we're seeking to headquarter our um, the organization for the anniversary celebration in Boston. As you know,
Hmm.
uh, not in Boston, but if people are part, join the our website. Get on the website and get on our contact list. Then you will be informed as to all of uh, the activities. Oh, and there's also a documentary on YouTube. It was part of a series, a
Hmm.
docu-series some years ago called We've Come This Far by Faith. And the
Hmm.
last one in that series is about this trip, about this pilgrimage um, from the United States back to
Right.
uh
Yeah, I was watching it though. I
oh,
was
you
watching
watched
it.
it.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yes. So, people can watch it and get the feel for what
Hmm.
it was all
And
about.
going. Yep.
Um yeah.
Yeah,
And
man. It's
so
been. Wait. Before you go,
yeah.
how do how do I hate using the term? How do African Americans view this project? What's the feedback you get from African Americans?
Well, most of the people that I'm working with are African Americans in the
Mm,
project.
mm,
Um, uh, African Americans feel that sense of connection to Africa quite a bit.
mm,
Um,
mm,
and but most of us who are the descendants of those who were taken, um,
mm.
more readily want to connect with West Africa,
In West
you
Africa,
know,
right? Mm,
than South Africa. But African Americans, the ones that I have, and again speaking anecdotally, are very invested in seeing,
very West,
um,
okay.
yeah, and getting the connection. They feel the
Okay.
connection, and I would want all of us to feel the connection. You see, one of the things about being on African soil, to me, I'd never been to West Africa, right? This is my first time on the
Uh-huh.
continent. um but being on the continent is such I cannot, I can't describe to you the sense of connection that you feel,
The
like certainly
motherland.
for me, the walk the soil of Africa is dear. So we come from, when a man took my hand, one of the elders in the clan, and took my hand, and he says, welcome home, welcome home. You are a part of this indigenous African nation. And I burst into tears
Wow.
because it was so moving and meaningful, and it felt to me like, when you watch Jurassic Park, and they were trying to figure out the DNA strand, and how they were
Yeah, yeah.
able to
Bring back this
reconstruct,
dinosaur.
recreate these dinosaurs. And they were like, oh, there's a piece missing, and they use some DNA from, I don't know if it's bullfrog or wherever, to make the connection. That is what I felt like.
That's very fun. Okay.
Like going back there and being adopted into this clan reconnected me in a way that I was not before, even though I had yearned all my life, um, to return
Mm,
to Africa and to be connected, reconnected in some way that I was not sure how. And those people said to me that you came to South Africa, because most people think about, going to West Africa and doing this in West Africa. And
mhm,
they said your father started this by giving you a closer name, because when he named
mhm,
me Makeba after Miriam Makeba,
mhm,
who's closer,
mhm.
um, that's what he did. And
Okay.
they said, so from birth, from you were named, you
You've been
were
destined to go
destined
there.
to return to
Mhm.
us. That's what they tell me. And then tell me, say me favor them. So I don't know. you know,
Oh my God.
you know, they said, you look like we. And I didn't say that to all of the African Americans that I went there with. So
Okay.
there's got to be, and I tell you, time and time and time again, and people see me, and they just start to talk closer to me, and
Mhm,
I look at it. I don't understand what you're saying. And they said, you're not South African? Like they can't believe,
mhm.
you
Wow.
know? So I do believe that I am home. I made it home.
Mhm.
I do believe that,
Oh my God,
you know.
Sonji, it's been a pleasure. It
Yes,
has
thank
been a
you,
pleasure.
Gary.
You have entertained and educated us,
Yes,
and I
thank
envy
you.
you for being somebody who has touched the motherland and has been touched by the motherland. I
Thank
envy that
you.
experience. I hope one day I can, live that too. But
Yes,
thanks for all you're doing, and
thank
we
you.
hope this organization will move from strength to strength.
Yes,
Guys,
please
please
pray
remember
for us.
crossing the waters, crossing the waters.
Yes. I
Please
see
share
my
this with your
girlfriend,
friends, guys.
my
Which
my
one?
friend Lorna Champagne,
Lana Champagne,
yeah.
yes, and Don, and
And Gracie.
Gracie, and don't forget Daddy Cool.
Oh, I didn't see
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yes, yes, he came in this. Yes, you
Yes.
love Sonji, yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
man. He's one I want to get on one night, because we have
Yes.
a lot to
Yes.
talk about. We have a lot to talk about, man.
Fitzroy.
And yep, and Diana Phipps. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Dorothy
Thank you,
Henry. But
guys. Thank you.
Sonji, I know you gave up a lot to come on this evening, and for that, I'm extremely grateful. I am extremely grateful. Very
Thank
grateful.
you.
And thanks. And next time, when you go next time, I want you to do something from there.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. We're either
Yeah.
6 or 7 hours behind.
Behind.
So
Okay.
we have to
Oh,
coordinate it
okay.
well.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You do something from there and we see how that works out.
Yes, yes,
All right.
absolutely.
So,
So
so
I
guys,
really
guys, that was Dr. Sonji Johnson Anderson. I cannot pronounce the new name
Nom
Nums.
Tim Kulu, Nom Tim Kulu.
Of the, how do you pronounce the name of the clan again?
No, nom the Katebe clan.
Oh my goodness.
Katebe.
I'll be spitting on people. I can. I would be spitting on a lot of
Very
people. But
Levy.
uh, but thanks for coming on, Sonji, and
Yes,
have a
thank you.
nice
Thank
evening,
you,
hon.
everybody. Thank you.
Take care. Have a nice evening. Okay,
Take
guys.
care.
Thanks for being here, everybody. I enjoyed your company, and I'm sure you enjoyed Sundays. So,
Yes,
people, over and out. Rock the mic. Stay safe. Thank
bye.
you. Ear up, Sunday. All right, cool. Okay.